Welcome back. So now that you know what ChatGPT is and how it works, theoretically, it's time to learn how it works practically. Let's jump right in. So we're going to start off by going to chat.openai.com. This link will also be in the resources. If you already have an account, just go ahead and click on login. If you're brand new, then click on sign up. It's completely free, it's super fast, and I'll see you inside. So once you're in, ChatGPT is rather minimalistic and very easy to use. But with that said, we're still gonna go through its different features, interface, and how to best use it. Let's start off by going to the left. The most basic and important thing to know about is how to start a new chat. We're gonna go to the upper left corner and click on new chat. And this is gonna give me two different versions that I can use. It's gonna be ChatGPT 3.5 and 4. If you just signed up, you are not gonna have different versions to use. And that is because I am using the plus version of ChatGPT. The plus version means that I have access to a slightly smarter version of ChatGPT, and that costs $20 per month. And if you're worried about having to sign up and pay that price to use this course, rest assured you don't. Everything we do in this course, every single prompt that you will learn works 100% with the free version of ChatGPT. And while the free version currently is 3.5 and the plus version is 4, in the future, those numbers are just gonna go up. But rest assured, this course won't be outdated. It just means that everything you learn in this course will just work even better with a smarter AI. So what is the difference? Well, first of all, the free version of ChatGPT is much faster, but slightly less accurate than ChatGPT 4. ChatGPT 4 is about 60% more accurate than 3.5, which means that for complex tasks, it is going to do a better job at creating more unique essays, do some better formatting, and just have more human personality than the free version. But with that said, ChatGPT 4 is slower. Let me show you how these work differently. Let's start off with the 3.5 version. I'm going to start off by giving it some basic instructions. I'm gonna write a 500 words article on Napoleon Hill. Hit enter. And as you can see, it's gonna create this article incredibly quickly. So that literally just took a couple of seconds and we're getting all these massive amounts of data. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start a new chat by clicking up here and use ChatGPT 4. So I'm going to use the exact same instructions, write a 500-word article on Napoleon Hill, and now notice how much slower ChatGPT 4 is. You're gonna notice that the wordings that it used is going to be much more unique, much more human-like, and overall be more creative. Also factually more accurate, but it takes a longer time to get the text done. Now I'm gonna let this one finish so you can check it out. So if you want to compare the results from the two, I'm gonna scroll through the ChatGPT 4 version, and you can just pause this lecture and read through it. That's all. And then I'm gonna move back to the third version. I'm gonna scroll through this, pause this lecture if you want to read it. And you're probably going to notice that the wordings are very different, but the results in both cases are amazing. With that said, even if you're using the plus version, I still recommend that if you have smaller and very quick and easy tasks that you want to get done, use the 3.5 version because it's just much faster. Not everything needs the mega mind of ChatGPT 4 to get accomplished. So once you get the response, there are two things you can do. The first thing is if you don't like the response that you have gotten, you can actually edit the instructions that you have written. By hovering your mouse over what you have written and going to the right, clicking there, you can add in more instructions or remove everything and give something completely new. Let's say that I think this is too long. Instead, I decided I want it to be about 200 words. So I'm gonna do write 200 words article on Napoleon Hill and click on save and submit. Now it's going to redo that entire piece of text and we are going to get a new result. And here is the new article. The history is still saved. If I still want to access the previous response and see what the previous instructions were, I can just go ahead and hover my mouse to the left of my logo, and then you can see it now says 2. If I click on this, here we can still see the original instructions and the original response. And again, I can just head back to the latest one. Now, if I don't like the response that ChatGPT has given me, but I still find that my instructions are spot on, I just want a new version of it, I just go down and click on regenerate response. And then what's gonna happen, we are going to get a new response from ChatGPT. And here it is. And if you want to access the previous response, you just go to the left of ChatGPT's logo here and you click on this arrow. Here's the previous answer, here's the latest answer. And once again, if I go back on my instructions, you're gonna notice that there is no two options here because we only did one response. If I click on regenerate response here, then I could scroll through the multiple responses responses ChatGPT generates. But here there's only one response, and in the latest instructions here, there are 2 responses. So in this way, all of the history of all your redos and everything is always saved in the conversation. So if you get lost in all of your data and say, oh, I had a really good instruction, what was it? Well, you can scroll up and you can start looking through what it was in order to use it again. So looking over to the left, you're gonna notice that we have now 2 different conversations here. In order to organize all the different conversations, all you have to do is hover your mouse over and click on the little pen button here. I'm going to call this Napoleon Hill article GPT-4. Just so I know what it is. And then I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to call this Napoleon Hill article GPT 3.5. So this way I'm able to organize every conversation that I have with ChatGPT. When should you keep going on the same conversation, and when should you be creating a new one? It is all about the topic that you are writing about. Whenever you're staying within the same topic, you should keep the conversation in there. So jumping back here, if I wanted to continue writing on Napoleon Hill, I would keep this conversation going until I have my article on Napoleon Hill. So in conclusion, every conversation should have a specific topic. Stay within that topic. This is important because ChatGPT remembers your data. And whenever I start a new conversation by clicking on a new chat, we start from a blank slate. So remember that one topic per one chat and keep everything in there. So scrolling down, the only additional thing to know about ChatGPT's interface is that you can click on your account name here and you have a couple of things to explore. You have the help and FAQ if there's any questions about ChatGPT itself. For example, there would be any billing issues. If you're a Plus user, all of that info would be in here. You can clear your conversations by clicking here, but you can also clear them manually. By going up and hover my mouse over, I can click on the trash can and then just click the check mark, and that conversation will be deleted. I'm gonna do the same with this one. I click on the trash can and delete it. Just be careful, because when you delete this information, there's no getting it back. It will be gone. And then we have my plan. We are a Plus member, and that's currently $20 a month. That might change in the future. Again, you don't have to be a Plus user in order to get the full benefit of ChatGPT and this course. That is just a bonus. Then we have settings. We can change the theme. We can use a light theme, which is naturally going to be light. I prefer to use the dark theme. We can clear all of the chats by clicking here. There are beta features such as web browsing and plugins. Now, if I activate these two and then move over to GPT-4, the beta features are only for Plus members. I can access them by hovering my mouse over GPT-4 and then going down to browsing. By using browsing, ChatGPT will have access to everything currently on the internet. It's currently in beta and it works very, very poorly. I don't recommend using it. Plugins, very similar. If you click on plugins and then no plugins enabled, plugin store, you can choose a bunch of different plugins that can take ChatGPT to the next level. You can do Excel formulas actually written out for you. You can have Instacart where ChatGPT goes shopping for you. Once again, it is not in its full version. It is in the beta version and it works very poorly in my experience right now. Once it's released live, we will update the course and add these things in. But right now, they're not really that usable in my opinion. And then at the bottom here, we have data controls. And I strongly recommend that you keep chat history and training on, because that is where the value is of ChatGPT, where it's learning all of the information about you in a specific information so that it can get smarter and it can help you more and more. That is why we stick to one topic per conversation. Then we can export all of our data, and here we can delete our account. With that said, it is good to know that currently ChatGPT's information is capped to September 2021, meaning it doesn't have any information available of the modern times of what is going on right now. That will change quite soon too, and when it does change, we will update this course accordingly. But that is one of the limitations currently with ChatGPT, and we will show you how to work around that and make it work to your advantage still. So there are multiple ways of using ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you some of the most effective ways, and we're going to call them different modes of using ChatGPT. And the first mode is the most obvious, is the Q&A mode. Basically, you ask a specific question and you get a specific answer. The more specific your question, the more specific the answer. Let's take an easy example. So I'm gonna go ahead and write, who was the 13th president of the United States? Hit enter. So a specific question with a specific answer. Now, let's say that I wanted to take this a little bit further. I wanted to ask a completely different question. The first thing I'm gonna do, because it's gonna be a different topic, is that I am going to name this so that I know what it is about. If I want to keep this, I'm going to call it the 13th president of the United States of America. And then I'm going to move up to new chat. And now I'm just gonna write something a little bit more complicated. When did the Industrial Revolution happen and how has it influenced today's society? This is going to be interesting. And not only are we getting a factual, thorough answer, but we're also getting an answer where ChatGPT is taking its pattern knowledge and taking it slightly further. For example, the second industrial revolution, also known as the technological revolution, happened from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. This phase saw a major advancement in technology and infrastructure, and it's gonna take it further. So it's not being limited to the first industrial revolution. It's not being limited to only take a small piece of information. It takes the question and it looks at it broadly. We're getting a summary down here, and at the end it says, these are just a few ways that the Industrial Revolution has influenced modern society. It was a transformative period in the human history and has shaped many aspects of the current world. What we begin to realize quickly is we have the most knowledgeable piece of intelligence in the world right in front of us that we can ask any question and it can give us any answer to. And these are just 4 questions in themselves. There are so many more modes that we can be using. Let's take a different example. I'm going to go and create a new chat. Other than using questions, which we're going to call the question mode or the Q&A mode, we can also use an instructions mode, meaning we are going to give ChatGPT instructions to create or do something for us. Here's an example. We could, for example, write a short poem about autumn. And this is a completely creative feature. Let's send it away. And here we have the answer. And it's mind-boggling to think that even though ChatGPT just sees patterns and doesn't understand the information, the creativity that it has access to is insane. If you think about it, seeing patterns and creating something completely new, this is an original piece of work, and creating something that's brand new from old patterns, that is what we are doing with our brains as well. When we go to Google, we research information, we take information that we know and we create it into something new. It's just that ChatGPT is doing that for us. It's amazing. So as we start gathering up our conversations, we need to remember to keep things organized. For the Industrial Revolution, we're going to call it Industrial Revolution. And later on in the course, I'm going to show you how to validate information and fact check everything as well. Whether you're using the free or the plus version, you need to know how to fact check the information that ChatGPT gives you. It will not always be accurate and it will lie sometimes and make up stories just to fit its own narrative. But I'm going to show you how to fact check all of that. And then here I'm going to give this a name for autumn poem. Wonderful. So let's take the instructions a little bit further and make it more complex. Give me the ingredient list together with instructions to cook a vegetarian moussaka. If you don't know what a moussaka is, it is a Greek dish and it's usually with meat in it. We're asking for a specific recipe and also for ChatGPT to make it vegetarian. This is a very complex instruction to give, so let's see where it takes us. And here we're getting not only the results with the different ingredients for the different parts, but we're also getting instructions for the different parts, for the vegetable layer, for the lentil sauce, for the bechamel sauce, and also how to assemble it. And down here there's a note that says, please ensure all your ingredients are vegetarian friendly. Some cheese contains animal rennet, so you may need to find a more suitable alternative if you are cooking for strict vegetarians. There's an enormous intelligence in all of this. And normally when you are finding information or say a cooking recipe, that is a one-sided information. You find the information, take it or leave it. But here you are in a conversation. So that means if you have questions, you can ask them. If you want to modify, you can modify. We can, for example, say, make it for 20 portions. Maybe we're having a big party, and then send it away. And here we are. We are getting a new recipe, or rather the same recipe, but now adjusted for 20 portions. We're even getting a small disclaimer, or rather some tips in the beginning that says, for a large group of 20 people, you would need to increase the quantities. Please keep in mind that you will also need a larger baking dish or multiple standard sized dishes for this volume of ingredients. So beyond instructions, we can also ask ChatGPT to roleplay. Now the name is already vegetarian moussaka recipe in here, so that's good. So I'm going to go and create a new chat. And now I'm going to ask ChatGPT to role play a character, and this can be used for educational purposes. So you can have discussions with famous figures in order to try to get into their psyche more, for creative endeavors, or just for fun. But honestly, there's so many great things that can come from having ChatGPT role play a character, since they have access to all of their work and can mimic the way they think and the way they act. Let me show you. Pretend you are Shakespeare and write a short dialogue. Now, naturally, we would expect ChatGPT to write just like Shakespeare would with this very old language. And let's see what we get. It looks pretty spot on so far. So unfortunately, I'm not equipped with a poetic voice and a skull to be reading to, but you can pause this lecture and read through it. Amazingly, it is truly copying the way that Shakespeare reads, and as we know, it's doing this by recognizing the patterns of the language from all of Shakespeare's work that it has access to. So let's take this even further. Now I'm gonna call this Shakespeare's dialogue. Let's take this even further and create a new chat and make a slightly more complex role-playing character. So I'm going to write, pretend you are Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm about to go to the gym, but I'm feeling unmotivated. Give me an inspiring speech to motivate me and get me to work hard. And here we're getting a response in the true spirit of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it says, listen to me now and believe me later, my friend. Remember when I said that the mind is the limit? As long as your mind can envision the fact, then you can do something. You can do it. As long as you really believe 100%. This is where it gets interesting. I've seen it time and time again. I've seen it in my bodybuilding career. I've seen it in my acting career. I've seen it in my political career. But it all starts with the mind. So we're truly having the most intelligent bot in the world get into the mind of Arnold and give us a reply from Arnold's psyche based on everything he has ever created, and we can use that to our advantage. Now I'm using it for motivation, but I could be asking Carl Jung or Freud for psychological advice. I could be asking a philosopher for their ideas and thoughts. There is no limit in what you can achieve and dive into when you know what to ask ChatGPT. Another useful mode with ChatGPT is having discussions. Discussions are so useful because it allows you to go deep into any subject and learn more things from new perspectives. You can also have a discussion with ChatGPT to learn a language. You can have a discussion in order to practice discussing something. The applications are endless, but let's have a deeper look at this. I'm going to leave this called Gym Motivational Speech. I'm going to go to New Chat, and I'm going to start off by writing, let's discuss the impact of artificial intelligence on society. That's no small topic. Let's see. So here we have a great start of our discussion. It says artificial intelligence has the potential to dramatically impact society in both positive and negative ways. And it talks about the economic impact, the healthcare, the education, environment, having a very sort of unbiased view. And of course, as a discussion, I'll just continue on and I'll ask, what do you think will be the most problematic aspects of AI? And then we can keep going with this discussion. Our discussion continues with thoughtful responses like job displacement. Automation and AI are expected to replace a substantial number of jobs over the next few decades, while new jobs are also being expected to be created. We can continue the discussion. What sort of new jobs do you think AI will create? You know, we can go on and on all day just talking about this subject. So while the discussion is very tempting to just go on, and you can pause the lecture if you want to read through it, let's continue exploring. I've clicked on a new chat here. I think the AI impact on society is a great name. And now let's have a different discussion. Let's say I'm trying to learn French. Have a very basic discussion with me in French so that I may improve my French speaking skills. And I'm going to send it away. So it's starting off and it's having a simple conversation with me. It says, bonjour, comment ça va? Hello, how are you? It's even translating it for me. And I don't really speak French, so this is difficult for me, but I'm going to write, très bien, et toi? I think that is, I'm good. How are you? I'm going to send it away, continue this discussion to keep learning. So it's saying, I'm an artificial intelligence model, so I don't have feelings, but I'm ready to help you. What did you do today? We're already starting an interesting discussion. But what I did today is at the limit of my French skills. But at any rate, you can keep having a discussion where ChatGPT is giving questions to you and you can answer in that language. And if you're struggling, help me with a reply. And then it says, sure, if you want to say I went to work, you can say, I'm not going to try, but it's helping me out. This is a fantastic way to learn new languages. Another amazing mode to use is simulation. You can simulate any scenario in order to practice it for the real world. That could be a business negotiation, that could be a sales situation, that could be learning how to treat an angry customer. You can simulate those situations with ChatGPT and literally get your practice in for the real world. Let's take an example here. Simulate a customer complaint about a late delivery. And here we're getting an example email, late delivery, order 123456, urgent attention required, and we're getting a pretty angry message from a customer. And then we can just send our message and go back and forth and estimate what the reply will be with different approaches. And then we can transfer these skills for when we get actually angry customers if you are in that situation. So let's take an even more complex situation. Let's say simulate a house owner who I'm trying to negotiate a good deal on a real estate with. We disagree on the price. He is harsh, but a fair negotiator who wants no less than $200,000 for the house, and I am not willing to go above $150,000. And here we're getting a simulated version where we get to see the owner's response, and here ChatGPT is actually answering for us. So we get to see a play out of the scenario. And you can pause this lecture and read through this. Now, let's say that, okay, that's great. I've learned from this. Now I want to try it myself. We could continue by writing, let me negotiate with you. You are the owner and I will be me. Send it away. And it says, absolutely, I'd be happy to simulate the role of the homeowner for this negotiation. Please proceed with your opening proposal. So I'm writing, I've seen the kitchen. It stinks. That renovation will already set me back $50,000. I cannot go over $150,000 for the property. So let's see what we're getting. ChatGPT will counter argument, and then we keep going on and I can continue practicing my negotiation skills. Let's move on to the last mode. So the last mode is brainstorming. Brainstorming is an amazing tool to use with ChatGPT where you can take any idea, any vague plan, and have ChatGPT just throw different ideas at you, whether that is extra points to add to your presentation, maybe you have a startup going, maybe you're wondering something about your marketing strategy, maybe you have a friend who is in trouble and you need some pointers on how to deal with the situation. Whatever it might be, this is the next level brainstorming session. So let's start off with a rather simple instruction like this. Brainstorm ideas for an eco-friendly startup. Let's see what we get. If you've ever been trying to create a startup, you will know what a gold mine this is. Look at this. Zero waste grocery delivery, recycled fashion, green construction, eco-friendly cleaning service, solar powered charging stations. The creativity is mind-boggling. And best of all, this is your list based on the instructions that you have given ChatGPT. So it's unique to you. It is not going to be a search result in Google, the first one that everyone is reading, that everyone will be copying. This is unique to you. And finally, to show you the complexity that ChatGPT is capable of, let's add in a lot more specificity and more context. And we're gonna write for a brainstorming session. Brainstorm ideas for a Shopify dropshipping store looking to sell a product within the price range of $20 to $60. I want the item to be durable, but also unique to limit competition. Let's see. And amazingly, here is our results. You can pause the lecture and read through these. And if you want more, then all you need to do is write, give me more. That's the insanity of this, that it's just that simple. Ask for more and you will get more. So now you know how ChatGPT works and so many different ways to use it in. If you look to the left, look at all this that we have accomplished in just this short time that we've been spending together. Needless to say, there's an almost endless amount of ways to use ChatGPT. The potential is beyond this world, and we have gathered so much different data on so many different topics. And the craziest thing is, this is just the beginning. Moving on in this course, you will learn about prompt engineering, where you will learn to ask the best questions in order to get the best answers. Prompt engineering is an art and it is a science. When you learn to truly angle your questions in the best way, your mind will be blown over the answers that you can get and the results that ChatGPT can generate for you. Stay excited. See you in the next lecture.